Hello, and today we are going to be talking about learning how to hold the stick with left hand traditional, and then we're going to spend some time discussing how to develop that grip to get stronger and more comfortable. The first thing I do when I have students learn left hand traditional, or just traditional from here on out, I'm not going to keep saying left hand. The first thing I have the students do when I teach them traditional grip, I want to show them how the body naturally wants to keep your left hand. The first thing I do is I have them shake out their left hand, put it by their side, and then when I say now, I want them to drop their hand on the pad. Now once we've done that, we want the hand just to sit there nice and relaxed, but we're going to make some observations about the left hand. So the first thing you notice is naturally the left hand wants to be curved. The next thing you notice is the pinky nestles right up underneath the ring finger very naturally. So that's a very natural connection when I drop my hand. The other thing you'll notice is the thumb likes to lie on the hand right around the top knuckle or a little above the top knuckle. So the natural curve, the pinky naturally tucking underneath the ring finger, and the thumb naturally falling right around that first knuckle line of the pointer finger. One more time, shake it out, drop it on the pad, curve, same thing each time. For some of my students, if they already know how to play Stevens grip, then I'll use the Stevens grip to show them some similarities from a grip they already know to this new traditional grip. So if I hold Stevens grip in my left hand, okay, some things that we notice that we want to kind of lock into when we talk traditional grip. So the first thing about the Stevens grip I notice that's the same as traditional is that my hand is nice and curved. So I don't have any pointed fingers or real hard edges. So I have a nice relaxed curved hand. The next thing is my arm's nice and straight. I don't have my elbow tucked in or way out here. Everything's just hanging naturally off my shoulder. The next thing you'll notice is the thumb wants to lay right on the first knuckle of the pointer finger. So then we have that fulcrum connection right there. And the last thing you'll notice is that the pinky and the ring finger are nestled in and working together. If the student already knows Stevens, then I can show them that as a reminder to what the traditional grip should look and feel like. So after I've had them shake out their hand and just drop it on the pad, the next thing we're going to learn is how to insert the stick and try to keep their hand looking as natural as possible compared to how it looks right now on the pad. The first thing I do is I lift my thumb and I set the stick right here in the webbing between the thumb and the first finger. So then I create a platform with the ring finger so I can just have the stick laying between the webbing of my thumb and my ring finger. So I just have this platform. Now, a platform only works when it's parallel to the ground. If a platform is not parallel, it's now called a ramp. And a ramp is used for moving things. So if I turn my platform into a ramp, the stick's not going to want to stay there. So I have to make sure that my platform finger is parallel to the ground, and that way the stick will lay there and not move. Okay? From here, I'm going to take my first finger and just drop it onto the stick, and I'm going to reconnect my thumb to the first knuckle of my first finger. Then I'm just going to drop the middle finger onto the stick, and then my pinky is nestled underneath the platform finger just like it was in Stevens grip. Let me show you all that again. Drop my hand on the pad, lay my stick on the webbing, bring my platform over, bring my first finger over, drop my thumb, bring my middle finger, and then make sure that my ring finger is just nestled underneath supporting the platform finger. I call this the triangle. So if you look at the fingertips of my first finger, middle finger, and platform finger, they all form a triangle. And I want to get that triangle pretty much to be an equal-sided triangle. So when I look down at my hand If my middle finger is too pointed, well, I've now lost my triangle. If I have my bottom fingers out too far, I've now lost my triangle. So by keeping the triangle, it reminds me to keep my hand curved, and it keeps all my fingers back into the grip so they can work together. The more I straighten out my fingers in my grip, the harder it's going to be to control my drumming. So that triangle can be a really good way to constantly be checking to make sure that your grip is in the right place in the hand and that the fingers are in the right place as well. All I do for my thumb is I just drop it onto the first knuckle of my first finger. If you have a hitchhiker's thumb, which allows you to bend way over, then that bending is really easy. So I can then just kind of bend my thumb to where it's pointing up into the sky. For some people whose thumb just doesn't want to bend, and that's about all they get, that's still not a problem. I'm going to connect to the first knuckle of the first finger, okay? And then my thumb is not bending, but at least it's still in a good spot. So I bend my thumb just because it's more comfortable, but you don't have to. And then I check my triangle. Now let's talk about the fulcrum section of the traditional grip. So my fulcrum is going to be my thumb and first finger, which is the same fulcrum that I use in match grip and in my Stevens grip. The way that this fulcrum is going to work for me is that I find the bone that's on the bottom of the knuckle of the first finger. So I have a bone right there. Then I have a bone that's this knuckle of the thumb. So I want those two bones to be on the stick. So I have the bone from my first finger knuckle and the bone from my thumb. So I put those two next to each other, and then I put that on top of the stick. So my fulcrum is made up of the connection of my thumb and first finger while putting the two bones next to each other on top of the stick. Now let's look at the bottom part of the grip, the platform finger. So like we talked about earlier, I'm going to just let the pinky nestle underneath the ring finger. So they basically serve as one finger. And then by keeping it parallel, I lay the stick right above the first knuckle, which is around the cuticle area. Now this is the area where most people will get blisters when you're first learning. So if that happens, just practice in smaller doses, Band-Aid if you need to, and just take care of that area so it doesn't get infected, because you're going to have to spend a little time getting it calloused up when you're playing. And that callus doesn't form because I'm squeezing the stick there. It's just because the stick may rub a little bit and that skin's never had that before. So you may have to just spend a little time getting that callus built up. Fulcrum, the two bones on top of the stick. Platform, pinky, ring finger, and then the middle finger just drops onto the stick, and I have my triangle. One place you may or may not have an opening in your grip is back here between the first finger and the stick. I try not to force that space to be closed, because some people with longer fingers, that space opens a little bit. And for me, that's fine as long as the fulcrum's in the right place, but I'm not going to take and wrap my finger around the stick just to try to close that space. So that space can be open, that is not a problem. Shake out the hand, put the stick on the webbing, platform finger, first finger, thumb, middle finger, and make sure that the pinky is nestled. I have my triangle, and my thumb is connected at the first knuckle. With any new grip, staying relaxed while teaching your muscles the correct place to be is very important. It's easy to want to squeeze or hold on to the stick or mallet when you're learning a new grip because it doesn't feel comfortable. Don't put any more pressure into the grip than is necessary for the stick to stay in your hand. So when I get my grip, the stick's staying in my hand. I don't need to hold any tighter than what's necessary to keep it there. Holding it tighter than you need to is going to lead to a lot of bad habits. All right, and so that's our traditional grip. The biggest thing you can do right now is take the time to get the grip, hold it comfortably, take the stick out, shake out your hand, get the grip, hold it comfortably, take it, just keep repeating that process. Just that way, the more you set your grip right now at this early stages, the more you're going to know what it feels like, and you're teaching your fingers where they need to go. So I'd shake it out, get my grip set again, hold it there, shake it out, repeat. Another thing you can do is, once you get comfortable, is just hold your grip while you're walking around the house, while you're watching TV, while you're studying. Just having the grip in your hand is a great way to get all the muscles and tendons used to being in this position. And the more comfortable you are just holding the stick, the more comfortable you're going to be when it's time to start playing.